Hey everyone, I'm Caleb Fats. This is Sarah Sankio, and today we're going to be demonstrating some of our off-the-top warm-ups. And by off-the-top, I simply mean off the top of my head. These are warm-ups that I have studied and implanted into my brain because they are just fantastic. And in my personal opinion, I think that being able to physically see our warm-ups and being able to memorize them is fantastic. It helps our visual reading skills, it helps our memorization skills. But long term, I think it's a goal that we should all be able to do these off the top of our head, and that's why I'm talking about this today. Being able to do it off the top of your head is great because you further your understanding of it by doing that, and you further your understanding of how you're sounding in them. Because a lot of us will just go through our warm-ups and be like, alright, air's moving, sounding great, I'm a little flexible on the lips today, loving it. But we're not really hearing slight nuances that happen in it. And so I just find that it's important that we learn to do these just off the top. And so before I even start warming up, I like to do kind of a pre-warm-up, and I decide to find some portion in my day where I can take the head joint and I can just get my air into it. And that just kind of allows me to understand if my air is where it usually is that day. Because we all know that sometimes we put our food together and we're like, goodness, why? And so a tip for that is that sometimes our air is just not in the right place. And that's just a body thing. We get set up differently some days. Stress gets to us. It happens to the best of us. And so maybe an idea is to think of your air as hugging it closer towards you and maybe aiming it towards your elbow because maybe you've let it drift too far up. So this is going from floating too far away to bringing it back home. And then sometimes we're digging our air too deep and we're just pretty much blowing into the lip plate. So. And for that, you want to think of bringing it forward almost like a plane coming off of the airways. You know, the parkway. And after that, I like to put my flute together, and from here, I just want to make sure that my fingers feel okay, the body's set up okay, and I usually just use a scale or two, do it kind of cadenza style, play however I want to, see where I'm at. And that's also just a great way to practice your scales in general. Being able to have some freedom of expression and really just pinpoint certain areas of it. I love doing that, and it's a great stress relief sometimes, honestly, when I'm getting frustrated with them. And after that, I've analyzed my body, I know how my fingers are feeling, I know maybe my mouth's a little quirky, maybe my throat's a little too tense, and I just begin to apply these warm-ups now that I know where everything's at. So the first one I really want to talk about is, I don't know how long I've been studying this really, it's been forever. It's the harmonic warm-ups. Harmonics is a series of pitches that we can produce through a single fingering. And I'm just going to be demonstrating 4 notes. And it's going to be our C, our D flat, our D, and our E flat. These span a good variety of our range, and it just gives us a good sense of tonality of where everything is throughout those ranges. And so for an example of how the series works, and you can really apply it to the whole thing up till the next octave C. So fingering my low C, as we all know, just grip it and use these little special keys down here. I can play the low C, the next C in the staff, the G sitting right above the staff, the C above that, the E, and then the G. And truthfully, you can push that further into the next C above that G, but I find stopping at G is relative and healthy. So I like, before using only the one fingering for these, I like to go through and play each of those notes. So just trying to get a sense of how they sound before I actually just only use one finger, so I make sure I'm hitting the correct partials that I'm thinking of. And so now to demonstrate how we're going to do those, we're just going to go all the way up to that G on a single fingering and all the way back down to the C. So C sharp, the D, and the E flat, and even E natural, F, and G. Like, it just continues up. And so now I even demonstrate it on D. So some things to be aware of is that this is not finger challenging. It's all about listening in to how clear you can get this harmonic series to be with each partial, and that it sings and resonates, and that you can then compare it back to the actual note being produced with the correct fingering, and make sure that your space and everything that's adjusting here is the same. And so you'll notice as you're ascending that your jaw might be coming a little forward, your lips being a little more supportive as it comes out, maybe your soft palate's raising. These are all good things that we want to try and think about and encourage in our body as we listen, and maybe even develop a little further if we feel like we're lacking. Like during that, I could tell that my throat had a little tension. And so that's going to lead into my next one, where we're going to do long tones with singing. It's my favorite. So in this, I've noticed a little throat tension. You know how you don't have throat tension when you play flute? You sing, you play flute. Fun fact, I swear it cures it. And what do I mean by that? I mean, so on my B natural above the staff, you know. I noticed maybe a little tug here, like I'm trying to force something. So I'm going to try and hum ma while I play the flute. And there's 3 key vowels that I really like to think of when I do this, and is not one of them. I do not know why I did that. Take that as a no lesson from me. But I like to do e, oo, o. And so for this reference, I'm going to try thinking e while I play this. Just humming. Try that on a series of scale long tones or whatever, and tell me you don't notice the difference here. Whenever I switch back to the correct note, I was like, wow, it's open. I feel more supported. It's livelier. It's just a great exercise to have. And now from there, I'm going to talk a little more about doing a combination of your octave slurs with a decrescendo. So in this exercise, let's take, once again, B natural, a great, bright, happy note of the flute. And we're going to play the one written in the staff, and we're going to slur to the one right above the staff, and then we're going to go down a half step to B flat and try to decrescendo as long as we can, and keep the same quality of sound, color, vibrato, and just taper it until it's nothing. And sometimes this results in a whistle tone, which is when our air is so quick but not strong enough that it is producing like a slight buzz. It's really nice, it's interesting that you might experience. And if you can, play around with those because they are great for supporting the embouchure muscles. But as I'm coming back to it, as we are doing the decrescendo I was talking about, I want you to imagine a point on the wall, almost like a bullseye. And that this bottom lip is your hand and dart, and you're just guiding it out to that point. So the bottom lip will move and come forward a little bit as you're decrescendoing, and that will help support the air pressure and quality of the sound. So an example, so B natural, B natural, B flat. Not correct interval cues, don't take that. So. And the real goal of this exercise is to make sure that you are keeping a fully supported sound and that you're learning how to use this bottom lip to just completely and subtly release it. And duration is a great practice during this. Seeing how far you can really take it without getting nasty. Because nobody wants to hear. It's just not the best, you know? And so now we're going to talk a little bit about vibrato. Wow, a massive topic for us, truthfully. And one that I feel can be simplified into just let it sing. We focus so much on my belly is making making the vibrations. My throat is, my lips are, my air, I'm bouncing my air. And sometimes these can create a culmination of bad vibrato. And so I really think that just thinking of that sparkling, naturally operatic singing tone in your ear is what really helps this. Because we have some of our vibratos that are produced. We have the shimmering, gorgeous one, you know. Very even, well supported, just adds color. Sometimes we have ones that people have focused so much on trying to meter their vibrato that it's very punchy. So it's like. Sometimes we have people who have really just went far. And it's caused so much tension in their throat that they have created an amigo vibrato, which kind of sounds like. It hurts. Don't do it. And there's many variations on it. And I personally, when I practice vibrato, it can be as simplified as me trying to just do rhythm breakdown. So I can do a static note, begin applying a slight variation into eighth notes, triplets, 16th, 5 tuplets. I almost said university. Great breakdown for 5 tuplets. And then coming back together from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. And a small demonstration of that, and the real goal in this is making sure that when you do it, is that change and that flow from each downbeat is even. Nothing's accented. So you don't want to be like, no. You want something more like, and you can do this on any note, and I suggest honestly just pick a scale that does a decent range coverage and go up and down it and do that pattern over and over. And honestly, another one that I've become a huge supporter of for vibrato, and honestly it just helps open up your being in general, is coming to the perspective of the singer. So take the first 5 notes of any scale. I'm going to do A major, so. Play it again. That kind of gives me a pitch center of this natural vibrato that I already have in me and placing it into my instrument. And I find that is a very unique and helpful just aspect to have. And once again, you can do all are wonderful variations on it, and I fully support them to the highest possible extreme. And I mean, I think genuinely that's kind of it that I have for what I kind of do off the top of my head, because these are everything I've given to you. I mean, it covers all your range, because in harmonics you're starting in that low register, you're ascending to the high. In your octave slurs, you're messing around the lower. And I also meant to mention that you can do that in any one. If you want to go extremely high, do like G to high G. You know, slur back and forth between those, or do the decrescendo with it. You can do that. These are all just wonderful exercises that really develop the muscles that are going on in here and allow you to just think. I spent so long not doing any of these, and I used to just get out my flute, heart to heart, just start playing my little Mozart concerto in D, getting ready. And now that I know these, I've really developed a sense of like, wow, I should probably go back and do this fundamental exercise that I've been doing, because it can help improve this. It's just a way to really, it trains your ear to take the good sound that you have and how to make it even better. And if you all have any questions, maybe want PDFs of like the workups I've talked about so you can memorize them, or like if this isn't clear enough and you're a visual learner, just let me know, contact me, and I hope you have a great day.